All right, guys and girls, real estate and suburbs in real estate, how to understand why suburbs pump and why they don't pump. We're going to use DY as an example of capital growth, suburbs pumping, and how you can apply it to your suburbs. Stay tuned. Billy Drury, there he is. How are you?
DY enthusiast. I love DY.
Wow, you've even got the right way around.
We've
Wow.
got a collection of these beautiful magnets. They're on offer.
Why? Why would you have 20,000 magnets to go out to the world? Why?
We just feel passionate about DY. We love it.
Why not? Why not? Like, we've had this campaign we've been running, guys and girls, the last 2 weeks, where we got fridge magnets, super strong fridge magnets, by the way, triple thickness. We ordered.
Yeah.
Don't like those skinny ones that keep falling off. And we thought support. Love the one you're with is what we thought. And the I love DY promotion's been born. And boy, it's been popular. It's weird. Some people, zero response. Some people, oh my God, can I have 3, 5, a whole bundle?
Yeah. Kids love them. Parents pick them up at the open homes and say, yeah, have this. This is something you can take home.
Yeah.
It's been popular.
I found them in service stations in Mossman.
Great.
The I love DY magnets. Everywhere.
Yes. Yeah, they're everywhere.
Now, Billy, Bob, tell me, why live in DY? What the makeup of a suburb? It over 30 years of a real estate agent, I'm going to share insights of what I see and don't see. The magic that creates capital growth in suburbs. I think people often think, am I getting onto a winner when I'm buying in a suburb, or am I buying a dud when I'm getting into a suburb? And there's a couple of components also where yesterday I had a chat with someone, and they were massively attracted to the high rent they would get when they're buying something, the yield. And they didn't even consider capital growth. And I was like, different things attract people to different suburbs. So we're going to rip DY apart today and put it all back together.
Well, it's quite a unique suburb in its composition. It's beachside for a start. So like the northern beaches, you've got these beachside suburbs that are, I guess, particularly popular when it comes to, their coastal offering, nice and close to the water, but also it's very unique in its sort of diverse apartment and house setup, and then also the transport, the shops. We'll get into that in a little bit more. What before we sort of jump into the 10 interesting things about DY, what's your favourite first of all as a DY local?
Beach.
Well, I think mine's the all the shops.
You've got to understand, guys, when you're buying into a suburb, it's nice to have when you're buying anything, it's nice to have a limited edition, not because it's limited as in the word, but because it's desirable and there's not many of them. And I do like when you're looking at buying real estate, if you can buy something and Billy, you say it really well, supply is the enemy of capital growth. Supply is the enemy of capital growth. When something has a limited offering and it's sought after by everyone, that's going to push the prices up, equals capital growth. So I like the beach. I think if you have a good common sense approach and have a little hover over Sydney, you've got your Bondis, your Brontes, you've got your Manleys, you've got your DYs. There's not many precincts that have level walk, excellent transport, excellent restaurants, excellent shopping, and a
Yeah.
beach. So when you combine those three things, you start to go from maybe 24 beachside suburbs to half a dozen beachside suburbs at best. I might even say there's only a couple. Maybe
Yes,
you got Manly, DY, Bondi.
spot on. And we
Cronulla?
encourage you when you're going through the buying process or looking at where you're going to put your money, go through the checklist. I guarantee you take some of these red hot
Yeah, man.
suburb names, the ones that everyone just know because they know it, such as Bondi. Everyone knows Bondi for the beach, but it's so much more than just the beach. And compare. It's a really good thing to do.
Yeah, I think I think a good old fashioned hard copy on paper box tick checklist. I think you'll be surprised with the offerings of suburbs where you are, and those things uh, can't be taken away. Are the important things that should go in those boxes, i.e., new hospital tick, i.e., metro station if you're in that area wherever tick, i.e., beach tick. I'm not just talking about DY, but I'm just saying check that checklist that you're talking about, Billy. Those fundamentals that you're talking about cannot be taken away. They are so important to buying in a good suburb. Um, Something that we've danced around that I got a hit between the eyeballs, and people would not have agreed with me of late, but proximity to a city. So you may not think so, but people are quite tribal. Um, Humans are quite tribal. They like to cluster into communities. They like to cluster into towards big villages. They like to cluster towards a city. So if you look at worldwide cities that are super successful, a lot of them have the common denominator that they're or, the CBD offering super
Yeah.
essential where they can dwell. It's got to be close to that. Water being harbour or water being uh, um, beach. Those two things absolutely critical. And again, they can't be taken away. They're back to your checklist, Billy. They're on there. They're ticked and they can't be taken away. So back to suburbs that thrive. Your Manly and your Bondi and your Rose Bay and your Double Bay, all that stuff. A lot of these are on the water and they're very close to our city. So city proximity radius massive.
I also want to give you a bit of a history lesson on DY, because people would maybe not assume that it's actually quite an old suburb, but by sort of Sydney, Australia
How
standards.
old?
1814.
What?
Everyone thinks DY has only been alive for 50 years, 60 years. No, quite the opposite. 1814, and there was a
What's
surveyor.
1814?
That was when DY was put on the map from the sort of the records of the European history, and obviously way before that with the Eora Nation.
Respect. So 210 years, if my maths are right, we're celebrating DY. What?
Yeah, yeah. And the actual term DY, they're not sure whether it's got any meaning behind it. Could have been shorthand at the time, literally DY, and then it was extended out to its longer name as it is now. But there you go.
Solid. What else makes up DY or a good suburb?
I think the diverse sort of people we've got, such a huge mix of cultures, which I love. You can get every type of food, every different kind of shop in DY.
It's quite shocking. It is a beautiful blend of all cultures across the world. I find I just think it's bang on with that one, Billy Bob.
And I think that's community gets behind that. There's all a festival going on different happening locally.
Well, they're almost, and I love, I like how I like how these communities integrate in DY, and I like also how they separate. So they separate enough to be to enjoy their overseas cultures, whether it's their church or whether it's functions that they get together. But they simulate beautifully with the community, as in it's never like you're not welcome. I find Nepalese, Thai, Vietnamese, Serbian, Italian, Greek. They're all such welcoming cultures in Australia, and I think in DY. You can go to one of their restaurants and feel like you're one of them and you're part of them. You can go into their homes and they're always welcoming. So I think when you've travelled so far across the seas, you're probably open to open-minded and mix it up. A lot of people from the UK, a lot of ponds. It's amazing in DY, the eclectic mix.
And my finishing statement here is the price points are so diverse, and that's so important for people to recognize when they're buying, because if you can buy in a suburb that the same amenities, the same benefits, properties are selling at $10-20 million, and you can get in there for 500,000 or $1 million, you're winning. You really are winning, and everything brought up together.
I never thought about that. Can you expand on that? That's a cool one. That's a very cool one.
If you look at the best suburbs, the best cities in the world, and it's like the old-fashioned statement of picking the worst house on the best street. It's that kind of thinking. If you look at some suburbs, you simply can't get in. The price points, the entry-level price points are so high, you just can't get in. So you're forced to look further afield. But somewhere like DY, we have a magic price point entry where you can get into the suburb and enjoy all the same shops, the same beach, the same transport, everything's the same at 500,000 or 600,000 for a one-bedroom apartment, as $10 or $20 million homes have.
I really like that. It's not just upper class or lower class or middle class or any class. It's all class.
It's classy, and everything goes up together.
Yeah. And you got money in your back of your pocket. It can cater for all food budgets, all shopping budgets, all budgets.
Yeah, it's just class.
DY all class.
No, nothing more to say there.
You're a legend, Billy Bob. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed today. And it's not just about DY today. In conclusion, it's about applying these principles to your suburbs, wherever you may be. Agent for 30 years, and people are always asking the question about suburbs. And today's a little bit about answering that.
Yep, there you go.
See you, Billy Bob. I love DY. 210 years. Whoop, whoop. See you later.